Welcome to Two Errors, One Mindset. This is the place for younger adults and parents who are ready to build a better life, starting with their thoughts.
I'm Solomon. I'm right here in the mess of it, trying to figure things out just like you. I'll share what's working now.
And I'm Michael. My job is simple: to coach you through the biggest challenges using the mental tools that actually matter.
Every week, we blend my real-world perspective with my dad's professional coaching wisdom, giving you the playbook for confidence and control.
No hype, just clear steps. Let's roll. Today, what we're going to do on the podcast is something interesting and exciting, at least it is for me, because represented on today's podcast is going to be three generations. And so we're going to have my father, we're going to have me, and then we're going to have my son and his grandchild, Solomon. So we're going to get into a discussion. No one really knows what we're going to talk about today, but I do. So first, Pop, how are you?
Never better. Never better.
You say that a lot, never better, when I ask you. Why do you say that?
Why do I say it? Because it's an affirmation to myself. It tells me that I'm good. Everything is okay, no matter what's going on. And, that's mainly why I do it. And I'm sure other people are not really interested in what my problems are or my concerns or, hurts or whatever. So that's it. That's why I do it.
Perfect. And so why is that important to do based on what we've been talking about? What do you think?
Well, you're putting good out there and it'll come back.
Exactly. All right. So, Pop, I thought it'd be interesting to discuss, since it was just recently your birthday, 88 years old. How does it feel to be 88?
Same as 87. It's, it's no different. You don't feel any different in terms of who you really are. Your body is different. You can't do certain things that you could do, but who you are is always the same. It never changes. I'm the same as I was when I was 5 in terms of that.
It really does feel like that. I have that same experience that you're talking about, which is I still feel like I am that younger kid, even though my body is 54.
Well, I didn't exactly mean it that way. I meant it in the sense that when I look at myself and kind of reflect back on what I see inside, I have this feeling of who I am, and that's not changed. That's always been the same. It never ages. That's what I meant to say. So when I was 5, I felt this way when I really looked. And when I'm 88, I feel this way. There is no aging in that place.
And what do you think that part is?
What do I think it is? Trying to think how to describe it to you. I guess my only description is it's who I am. It's who you are. It's who Solomon is. It's who we all are. We all are that which is everything. And if I look inside myself, that's who I see. I see this space, this nothing space. People would say, well, I don't see anything, but that's it. It is not anything. It's just a space that contains everything, the world. And that's who I am. That's who you are. That's who we all are. And we're just kind of looking at the world through what some people call Steve Fox, or some people call Mike Fox, or some people call Solomon Fox. That's it.
Is your belief that we're all a part of that? You might label it God or divine, but we're all a part of that whole, just experiencing our life through the eyes of you, through the eyes of Solomon, through the eyes of me. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Yeah, I mean, some people call that God. If they said God to me, that's what it would mean to me. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So what do you think about all this?
I think it's very interesting, and I agree. What's inside, it never really changes, whether you get older, whether you're young. It's never really changing. You're always you.
Yeah, that's a great point. So you experience it too. You're experiencing the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
All you have to do is look. All you have to do is look back at where your eyes are, and you'll see it. It's just right there in plain view all the time. It's just that we're so focused on the outside, we never really notice it, or most people never really notice that.
Okay, so thinking of the person that might be listening to this, and you're saying, look inside or look right where your eyes are. Just explain it a little bit more for someone who's listening so that they really understand what you're saying.
Yeah, well, if I would say to you, take your awareness, take your focus, and put it back towards where your head is, and focus back to where your head is, and tell me what you experience. And when you do that, there's only one experience that's there. It's the experience of space, just this big empty space. And that's the awareness, that's the consciousness that is universal and which looks through the eyes of all human beings.
And then all these thoughts come in, which take us away from that awareness. Is that an experience you have as well?
Well, of course, yes. That's the point of it. The point of it is like you go to a movie and you're watching this movie. And it's interesting to watch the movie, but the real fun begins when suddenly you're in the movie. It feels like you're part of the movie. And the human beings, and that happens to all of us, I'm sure, at time to time when we're watching movies. But as a human being, for the most part, most human beings are in the movie all the time, not really realizing that there's a part of them that it's watching as well, and not a part of them that who they really are is really watching it. But I guess it's more fun to be in the movie and feel all the feelings and have all the surprises that, that the movie has as it unfolds.
So, what do you think?
Live life like you're in a movie.
Well, here's a good question. If Pop, what he's saying is there's two ways to experience life. One is we can kind of back up and zoom out and realize we're just kind of watching it all unfold, or we can be in it
Right.
and not realize or kind of forget that there is that way we can zoom out and just kind of watch it instead of getting ourselves so upset and experiencing all the emotions that exist from being in it and not, again, understanding there's this awareness that we can back out, zoom out, and see.
Yeah, it's different. You have different lenses. It's like almost like a camera. Like you have your camera pointed to something. If you zoom in, you can only see, let's say, my eye. But you zoom out, you see my whole body. That's kind of what we're saying here, right?
Pop, is that what you're saying?
I think what you said is accurate, yes, but I would suggest that there is just another piece here, and that piece is, I think, a very powerful piece, and that is instead of just being part of the movie or observing the movie, doing both at the same time. In other words, always hold on to who you are, but at the same time, let life unfold and experience that as well, but never forgetting that who you are is that which is watching life unfold. So it's two things happening at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
If we're either can be the actor or watching or a combination of both, what control do we have over the unfoldment of our life? In other words, can we pick, we're watching it, we're in it, but can we pick what we want to actually unfold on the screen as we're in it?
We can only control what we do. We can't control the other characters. We can control how we act and what we do, but nothing beyond that. And if we try and control other things, it's not gonna go so well for us.
Pop, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that I thought of when you asked me to talk or to be part of this is that what I wanted to say was that one of the essence of things that I wanted to say. I wasn't sure we were going to go into this area, but one of the things that I wanted to say was that the greatest lesson that I've learned in my life is to accept and to love and to let everything be just the way it is. That's what love really is. Allowing things, people, events, everything to be exactly the way it is. There's no need to change anything. Everything truly is a gift, and it's there for the human being to use and unfold and become who they're supposed to be. Now, if that's all I don't know if that's all pre-planned or not. I can't speak to that. But I can speak to the fact that I know that when I do that, when I am truly accepting and loving, life works easily. It's just all unfolds the way it's even when it's hard, even when it's hurtful, even when there's pain, to be able to hold on to the acceptance of that and to say, it's okay. There's a reason for this. I'm trusting it. I'm accepting it, loving it. And every time I've ever done that, it's always shown me why it was there, what needed to happen next. And it was all just perfect. Every time I try to resist something, fight against it, try to change it, doesn't seem to work out so well. It's when
Mm.
I surrender, that's when things work. And what I want to connect to what I was talking about before is that that place that I talked to you about before, that place of space is, if when you really look at that place of space, it's totally accepting. It just is allows everything to be. It has no judgment, that space that you look back at and see who we are. It judges nothing. It's just watching and accepting and allowing to be. And what else is that but love? So that's how it all fits together in my life, and that's how it feels right to me.
It definitely feels good. It makes complete sense. Why do you think that we are put into these bodies where we're having all these thoughts, which are constantly getting in the, well, they can be getting in the way, especially if we're not aware of this, getting in the way of actually having that experience of love and acceptance and peace?
Well, the simple answer for me is, well, why do you go to the movies?
Well, it's for entertainment.
Right. So I think it's for entertainment. I think that consciousness wants to be entertained and wants to see what happens is when it allows this world to unfold the way it unfolds. That's part of the reason why I feel like it's not pre-programmed is that that would take away why would you want to go to see a movie that you already saw or that you knew what was going to happen? I mean, you want to have the experience in the movie of all kinds of things happening, and here we've got this the supposed to most incredible movie at all.
So, what do you think of your movie so far?
It's been entertaining. Entertaining 19-year movie.
In all of our lives, right? We have some good stuff or what we perceive as good and bad. But there have been some times where things are challenging or tough. What Pop is saying is it's all happening for us. There's lessons in it, there's
Yeah.
growth, there's learning. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's kinda like how we talked about a few weeks ago, the riding the wave and not pushing back on it. Like Pop said, you gotta just accept it. Don't push back on it. Accept it, surrender, and it will all be okay, and everything's happening for a reason.
Mm, that's a powerful way to live.
It's the best way to
Yes.
live, I think.
Yeah, because when you fight it and you resist it, what resist
It's never good. Never good.
it really isn't. It's
Never.
actually it feels really bad when you do that.
Terrible.
Yeah. But so here's the question, Pop, maybe for you, right? What's the easiest way to let go? Because if you get caught up in it and there's emotions that you're dealing with, how do you just let go of it? What do you do?
Well, the truth of the matter is that sometimes what happens is I get caught up in it, but there's always a point in time when suddenly I realize what I'm caught up in. And then it just once that happens, I just kind of come back to, oh, I see, and kind of get back to who I am and to that space and just let go. Like I kind of say, sorry, I lost it.
You got caught up. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
got caught up again. That's all right. That's all right. And that's
I mean,
fine, and that's just part of it. It's all part of the program. It's all part of the play. It's all part of the movie, the book, whatever you wanna call it, and it's like when you get caught up in that stuff, you don't blame yourself because it's just the way it is. You just come back and you say, "Okay, that's what happened," and from the place of the pureness of who you are, that consciousness, that space of who you are, it is okay, and everything is fine, and there's no judgment in there, not at all. Not in that space, there's no judgment whatsoever, so that's all. You you do the best you can, and you keep coming back to the place of who you really are, and when you're in that place, everything is fine.
when you're in that place, do you experience the stillness? In other words, those thoughts that are usually running in your mind constantly, does that slow down and stop when you're in that place?
Yes, yes, it just disappears. It's gone. All
Mm.
there is space, and it's just all there is that just perfect peacefulness, that perfect space, and it's there.
So
And
it's
then
kind of
once you all the thoughts and that kind of stuff, that goes away. The only reason they come forward is because you focus outward. Once you
Yeah.
focus outward, and outward could be your body pain, it could be a lot. It doesn't have to be out. It could be out here in this body, but once you focus out of that space, then things start to happen. And that's the way it is.
So it's sort of like when you're driving your car and the gas is low and the light comes on. It'd be similar is when we're really kind of stuck and we realize and notice that we have all these thoughts going on. That could almost be the alert system to the same thing, which is okay, hold on. I got all these thoughts going on. I'm in the movie right now. Maybe I should just zoom out and come back to that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I'm saying that, and you don't have to just zoom out, but you don't have to, like, leave the world, you know? You can have both at the same time. Once you zoom out, once you're out, once you're in the place that I'm talking about, it does that even if the thoughts are there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When the only time it matters is when you are the thoughts. When you fall into that movie, then it matters. But
Mm,
once you pull back, it doesn't matter that the movie is going on and all kinds of stuff is happening. It's okay. You realize it's okay. You realize that you don't have to do this or you do have to do it or whatever. It doesn't really matter what the process is. It's just the important part is that it's okay, that there's a peacefulness there as you watch it.
yeah, that's so true. I was just thinking to myself, I'm thinking Solomon's going to be 20 and we're discussing this and like, how amazing would it have been for you? And
Oh,
I'd like to hear what Solomon says too, but at 20 to be able to know this kind of information. Thank you for listening to our conversation today. Your support means the world to us.
Honestly, it does. We started this podcast to share what we're learning about mindset, and knowing that it's helping even one person out there makes it worth every minute.
Yeah, we'd be so grateful if you consider supporting the show.
You can visit buymeacoffee.com/mindset1 and treat us to a cup of coffee. Think of it as a small, kind gesture that fuels our future episodes.
Now let's jump back into the conversation.
it would have been amazing, but, again, I think everybody gets to that place at their time.
Exactly.
At their time, and it's just that's the way it is. So and
Yeah.
so again, so it's not bad if somebody out there is saying, "I don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't make any sense to me." That's not bad. It's okay. You will come to what you need to know when it's your time to know.
It's a great point. But, I'm always asking that question, why? And that's, of course, the opposite of letting go and letting this process unfold. I'm always trying to figure out why. Why is it that some people never have the experience of understanding this? And why is it that some people do? And why do some people learn it early? And why do some people learn it late? But again, that's getting caught up in the movie as opposed to just saying it is because it is for whatever reason. And I need to just let go and enjoy the process.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you can.
So what do you think about all this? Like, how does this relate to you and like people that are younger at this point? What do you think?
Well, knowing this information or learning this stuff at my age, I'm grateful that I get to. But like Pop said, it'll come at a time. It's different for everyone. Some people learn this information when they're even younger than I am. Some people it takes years and years, but everyone will understand, like Pop said, and they'll understand at the time that's right for them.
It's a great point. Pop, do you think that the journey here is really all about that, which is about being able to realize that you can kind of just enjoy the process and quiet your mind? Is that why we're here? What do you think? Another why.
Yeah, it's another one. I don't know. I ask myself, how can I know the answer to that? I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of life is. I mean, I mentioned earlier that it's like going to the movies. We all love going to the movies, so maybe consciousness wants to go to the movies and have the experience of this universe,
Yeah.
experience of what it's like to be a rock or a tree or a flower or a gazelle or a zebra or a bird. I don't know. I don't know that's a possibility. Richard Fireman, I'm not sure how you spell his name. How do you pronounce his name? It's Feyerman, I think it is Fairman. He's a physicist, and I was listening to him on YouTube, and he was talking about time, and he said that time is not really real, not the way we think of it. And he said it's more like The world is four-dimensional, and it's a block. Time is like a block, and it's like it's all the past, the present, and the future all exist right now. It all exists now. And what consciousness is doing is going from place to place, like reading a book. The book is there, but when you read it, you start at the beginning and you keep going until you get to the end. Well, it says consciousness is looking at life this way. It looks from one page of time to the other, but there's no real time. It's just all happen. So if you're interested, just look up Richard Fearman on YouTube, and you'll see the things he says. This one I happened to be listening to last night, and I probably didn't say it the way it needs to be said, but it was just an interesting concept.
So you're 88 years old. You've lived life, a full life, but hopefully a lot more to go. But if you could pass one, two, or three messages, you kind of gave one, but what other messages would you have on the lessons that you learned in life?
The only message that's important is to just remember to come back to the loving, to accept whatever is happening. If you can do that, your life will change dramatically. That is, it'll change in the way that all the tension and the upset and the feeling of what to do next will just fade away. If you just live from a place of acceptance, which is love.
That's interesting. Well,
I mean,
so
I don't know what I can't say anything else to say but that in terms of life lessons.
it's a
Go
great
ahead.
lesson. It's a
Yeah.
great lesson. Let's actually use a real hypothetical situation. Imagine a person is feeling anxious. There's a lot of people out there in the world that have some anxiety, they feel anxious. So then, given that, someone that starts feeling those feelings and it's kind of overwhelming and it's feeling not good, how can you apply what you're saying? How do you do that?
Well, I guess I say it again, that they have to get that it's okay. It's all right for them to be anxious. There's a reason for their anxiety. And if they'll be patient, they will see the reason and it will pass. And what will be helpful if they could do what we talked about earlier and go back into that place that we've been talking about and rest in it for a little bit, their anxiety will diminish amazingly. They won't believe how it will diminish. But
It's
it's a challenge. I mean, I acknowledge that it's a challenge. It's easy to say and sometimes not so easy to do.
Yeah. I guess it's like anything. The only way you ever get good at anything is
Practice.
to practice. Yeah.
That's right.
Practice
Yes.
it. It's a practice like anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to get that it's so. Once you get that it's so, then there's a motivation to keep practicing it too.
Well, the option is you can resist and fight, which we were talking about earlier, or you can kind of let go, accept, and love, right? So one's pushing and fighting, and the other is sitting back and accepting and loving.
Right.
So, what do you think is going to be the best situation there?
Accept, love, get back to that place. Like I was thinking
Right.
when you feel anxious or worried about anything, slow down, come back to that place, like Pop was saying, and just accept it. And it will go away because I've done it. I've done that before and it does go away. You start to feel better.
Yeah, because if you fight it, well, then it's only going to stay and probably get stronger,
It'll
right?
get
Right.
stronger. Yeah, much stronger.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
won't
it's
know
an
what to
old
do with
saying,
yourself.
resistance causes persistence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
So
good one.
why do so many people resist so much?
It's just the nature of it, I guess. I guess comes from the fact of when we were evolving. In order to protect ourselves, we had to fight against the environment to stay alive. So maybe that just kind of become a genetically part of who human beings are or what human beings are.
One of the things that we're always talking about is how we get programmed from the time we're very little. Our parents, our friends, our teachers, they all say things to us when we're little, and they kind of goes onto the hard drive that we have, and most of the time it gets accepted as true. So, in other words, if someone's constantly telling us when we're younger, hey, you can fight that, you can do better, you kind of learn these things that you should resist, you should fight, you should,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
But that's because it was learned. But the thing that most people don't realize is that almost everything was programmed onto the hard drive. And so if we can kind of just sit back, like you're saying, and not resist any of it, it would certainly make life a lot easier. So I really think that it's that programming. And again, if you're not aware of it, you don't even realize that it's happening. But if a teacher tells us something over and over when we're in school, we will start to believe that because we may not question it. And therefore, it becomes a belief, even though it may not be true. So, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that?
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm so no, I agree with you that it's not we're programmed by 2 things, genetics
Yes.
and by experience and, life experience. And so all that programming makes human beings do the things that they do. I mean, the brain is this amazing computer and it just pulls all this stuff in and does all this stuff. And that's why it's almost comical to try to change anything. How do you want to change this computer? It's so powerful. To live with it, we just do what we were talking about and it makes life easier. And then, it allows you to accept more and more of the stuff. Look, I just want people who are listening to understand that I do not live in this perfect world where I'm always walking around in a peaceful place. It's not so. And I want you to know that there are things happening in the world, especially in the world of politics, that anger me and upset me and aggravate me. And I could feel it starting to build inside of me now. And, I want to yell and scream at certain people. I won't mention names. But, it's what's the point of that? There's no point in that. There's no point. No, just wait. When I really lay back and accept it and just say, okay, this is what he is doing or she is doing. It's okay. Let it be. There's a reason for it. There's a purpose. Nothing happens without a reason and a purpose. It's taking us to what the next place is. That's all. I trust in it. I trust in life and I trust in the world and that's it. And there's no need for me to be angry with this person or yell at this person or hate this person. All that does is aggravate me, makes my body tense, all this stuff. So, if that makes sense to you, I hope it does. I just wanted to emphasize so that people don't get the mistake or people listening to this that I'm walking around this perfect, calm person. I'm not. I'm just like everybody else. And I have my own struggles and things and all, but it's so much easier now that I've found a way of living it that we've talked about. That's all.
Yeah, I think it comes down to awareness. You at least have an awareness. You have the ability to practice it. None of us on this call are even close to perfect. We all fall into the same thing. But
Absolutely.
but there's a beautiful thing about being able to become aware of what's happening, step back, and then allow it to be whatever it is, because that's where anxiety, politics, all that stuff will then start to dissipate, go away, and then we, most importantly, feel better.
You were talking, I just had this thought, and that is, let's bring it down to who we are in terms of our life. If Solomon or you or I are with a friend and the friend says something and it angers us and we get angry and we fight back, and then what happens is there's this back and forth punching kind of thing with words, if you will. Instead, if you're able to just take a breath and come back into that place and into the loving, accepting place, then you say to yourself, then what happens naturally is, what is he saying to me? What's really going on for him? This really, does it have anything to do with me or is this about him? How can we find this out? When you come at at the person from that place, all this is going to melt away because you're going to find out what's going on for him. You're going to find out what you've done, if anything. You can correct your kind of actions and you can understand his actions, and suddenly there is peace between you. It's a much different way of interacting in life.
So true. I want to get both your opinions on this based on what you were just saying. That anger or upset, maybe we see someone doing something that we don't like. They're being stubborn, they're snapping at people. It could be doing anything, but
Right.
something getting us angry. My belief is that everything's happening for us. So if you're watching politics and you're getting upset or whatever is occurring, it's happening for our growth. But when it's a specific individual, this is my belief, and I'm interested to hear what you both think. What's really going on is we're seeing a reflection of ourselves in them. So if I'm watching someone being stubborn and I'm like, why are you being so stubborn? And it's starting to really piss me off. The reason I'm getting pissed off is because I'm stubborn in another area of my life. And rather than looking at that piece, instead pointing it out there and getting angry. But really what I'm dealing with is something that's going on inside of me. So it's a great way to reflect back and say, oh, well, I'm not really upset with them. They're not really causing me the upset. The upset's right inside here, and it's giving me to something that I can work on as myself. What do you guys think of that?
Solomon, what do you think?
Well, yeah. Oftentimes when you're like maybe disagreeing with someone or, in a fight, whatever it may be, the first thing you see in them that bothers you is something from within, something that might bother you about yourself. So, like you said, if you're being stubborn, or the first thing that I might see is something that I might struggle with, or I think I struggle with. And it's very interesting if you look at all the arguments or disagreements, whatever it may be, that you've been in, it's always the first thing that you point out, at least for me. It's always the first thing that I see is something that I could get better at.
It's all a mirror reflecting back to you. That's a possibility, no question about it. But again, just remember to take a breath and come back and quiet yourself and then look and see. Look, it's like when I get angry, well, just when I get angry at this politician who's doing what he's doing and I'm yelling at him, what I'm really doing inside is saying, I feel so helpless because I can't do anything about this. And it's wrong and it's not right. And why is he saying this? And why is he doing this? So, but it doesn't matter where it's coming from. And it could be coming from there or just coming from him or whatever. But I guess it has to be that because if he was saying something that I was peaceful with, even though it was, like didn't make any sense to me, I wouldn't respond that way. So I'm only responding. I guess that it really is so. I'm only responding from a place of what, like Solomon said, what's going on for me? What is happening inside that's doing it. And what I'm talking about just now is my frustration, the helplessness, the wrongness of what's going on and what's happening to this country and all that kind of stuff that goes on for me. But then that all just kind of fades away when I come back, take a breath and sit in that peace that is who I am. And then I can just accept what's happening over there and say, okay, there's a reason for this. It's all going to be the way it's supposed to be, and I'll just let it unfold the way it's going to unfold. And if there's anything I need to do, I'll find out. It'll just happen for me, and I'll do it, whatever that is. And it may be that I don't have to do anything. I'll just be here in peace and just allow it, and it'll work out. In personal relationships, I think that's probably really powerful because it allows you to either allow the person to be exactly the way they are and go through their process, or it allows you to better able to facilitate them going through their process by responding in a different way, a more loving, kind, and accepting way.
Imagine if there was a rule that was set up that said, you're not allowed to judge another person until you're perfect.
There'd be no judgment.
Would you ever be able to judge someone?
No.
You wouldn't. But
Yeah,
that would be such a great rule because here I am judging someone, but I've got plenty of stuff that I need to work on and perfect myself before I get to a place where I really should be judging someone else.
great
Agreed.
rule. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
if we could
that's
live
good.
by that one rule,
Yeah.
maybe
Easier
there could
said
be
than
an
done.
executive order for that rule. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let's let the rule be to just keep
Love.
contacting that part of you, really the essence of who you are. Keep in touch with that. And if you can, keep in touch with it while you're out in the world playing, so that both things are going on at the same time. You're out there fully engaging, but at the same time, there's there's the other part that's kind of you're connected to and you're aware that you're connected to it. That's the most powerful way of operating in this world.
It's so true. Because if you're coming from a place of love and acceptance, there would be no judgment anyway. So
No, none at all. Right.
yeah. It's interesting. One thing I wanted to share really quick was I've watched hundreds of these near death experiences. It's incredible because they all say the same thing when they are really 100% awareness, which is what we're talking about.
Right.
The only thing that they experience and everything that they say about coming back here, the only purpose is to love. That's what they say, is to just be love for yourself and other people. And that's all you need to do. So it goes right in line with what you've been saying from the
Yeah.
very beginning.
Right.
And because if you're being love, you're being acceptance also. That's part of love
Well,
that falls under the
that's
same umbrella.
that's what a love is. Yes.
Right. All right. So we talk all about this. This is a great conversation. Let's do some takeaways. Well, what do you think, Sol? What's your takeaway from today?
I learned a lot. I hope everyone else learned a lot too. Some great things. The biggest picture is going back to that place of love and acceptance. Even if you're in the toughest situation possible, try and get back to that place because it will help. It will help you. No matter what the situation is, if you can tap back into that area, you will get through it.
Pop?
Yeah, my takeaway is that it became very clear to me that when I do get upset, there's something really going on inside here that I need to acknowledge. And the easiest place to acknowledge it is from the place that Solomon was just talking about. Once you go back in that place, you see where you're coming from and what's churning up all that upset. So that's big thing for me right now. That was very, very good to hear.
Yeah. And I think for me, I like what you said. I like what Solomon said. It's just, we're not perfect. We're probably never going to be perfect. But one thing that we can always do is practice getting better and better. Practice coming back to that awareness. Practice bringing ourselves back to love, back to acceptance. And there'll be days where we're doing good at it, and there'll be days where we are not. But at least we have the option to come back to that place and practice and get better. And I
Right.
think, as long as we're doing that, only good can come from that, I think.
Yeah, I just want to,
Agreed.
the last thing, and we said this before, but I just want to make sure it's really clear. It's like you can't go back to that place unless you're aware that it exists. So
Right.
the first thing is you've got to become aware that this place exists. It's not out in the world someplace. We've all been looking for it during our lives. And when we find it, we find that it's right here, right behind our eyes.
And if that's the case, that would mean all answers that we're all looking for are right inside of us. They're never out there.
Never.
And yet, most people are always looking out there, including myself. Oh, find it
Of
out there. It's got to be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
course, of course, of course.
Well,
Sure.
a blessing for everyone listening, for us, that we continue to have this awareness, continue to come back to love and just share it with ourselves and others.
I appreciate the opportunity of joining you, and it was really nice for me personally. It was just beautiful to share this with my grandson and my son. It's a wonderful thing, really.
And that's what I was thinking about. I actually was thinking, like, 30 years from now, Solomon's grandchildren could be listening to this.
My grandchildren in 30
I
years.
mean, children, my grandchildren. I mean, it's a pretty powerful thing to have them be able to listen to their great grandfather talk
Of
about
course.
his. Isn't that a cool thing? So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really glad we did this.
yeah,
Yeah.
me
Really
too.
glad.
Well, everyone have an amazing day, and we'll see you next week. That brings us to the end of the conversation today. We truly hope you leave here with a few new tools for your mindset toolbox.
If anything we talked about today, from challenging your beliefs to taking that 1% step, resonated with you, we'd love for you to share it.
Our goal is to bridge the gap between generations. If you know a young adult who's struggling with self-doubt, or a parent who could use a fresh perspective, please share this episode with them.
You never know which simple questions or ideas might change someone's entire week or even their whole outlook.
You can find our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you again for being a part of our mindset community. We'll see you next time.